All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sunday Night Quantum Study Session. Today is May 24th, 2026. So we're going to get the show on the road. There was some insane opening trades already. All right, some of you guys caught that ripper up. Right now we're in this little 1 minute range. There was an A++ little pull down for a quick 10. Now it's just stuck in here. 2 minutes trying to kind of push down below. Did close below the line, but you still want to see it break below that 47 next. You want to see it kind of try to pull down a little further. And if it breaks this 47.50, we have room to test all the way to 24. Far down there it can get, who knows? The trend up is still looking pretty deep and strong. So any, pop down could be short-lived, but there's still room for this to go. So first question we had is, what is an A++ setup? So we just had an A++ setup up here. So I'm going to break this down again. So cross happened, right? Slightly behind the candle. It happened behind the candle, but it happened on the wick. For the quantum candles, the wicks I do count as a part of the body. So this is an A++ setup for me. Entries, candle close. You caught this 58 all the way down to 47 for a quick 10. Pop back up. Rejected the top of the candle. And again, coming right back down. Looks like it's going to test that 47 again. If it keeps pulling down a little bit, the 2 minute is trying to continue to pull down as well. Okay. We had two A++ setups down here. Okay. And I'm going to break these down as well. So this right here is an A++ Y. The cross occurred within the center of the body. Okay. That's an A++. Same entry, stop loss below, and you would catch your ride up. Right. This one is also an A++. Same idea. Cross within the center of the body. All right, can you kind of see it? Yeah, there it is. There's the lines right there. Okay, I gotta hover it right on the line. See the lines cross inside the body. Gave you a little bit of a retest. There was a little push down to that 1 minute level over here where it bounced up, right? This is not an A++ setup. Why? Because the cross occurs in front, so the move's already in progress. While the move's already in progress, right, you're gonna potentially be getting into a FOMO play. So you have to be cautious. Do these play out sometimes? Yes, but you still have to be cautious because usually when they cross in front, it's already giving you the push. Okay, this up here, right? As this is an A++ setup, but right, big but on this one, and I hope you guys see that. Those of you that are here that have been here for a while, what is the big but on this one? The impulse candle, right? Look at the size of the previous four candles, and then this big boy comes out of nowhere. These are super dangerous to try to enter on. They do get tested. They immediately paused and tested the whole candle. Gave you a little break here, right? But it could not break that level here. So these are the ones you want to be careful. These impulse candles, always play with caution. Okay. I think that's all we had for tonight. So this short right now, it is shorting. If anybody's in this, that's pretty good. The 2 minute was kind of telling us, right? The 2 minute pull down. So now we have room potentially 224, but it does not mean it'll get all the way down there, right? We are in an uptrend, but that's where you have room to go. So if you guys caught this right from this initial and you didn't get stopped, right? This wouldn't have stopped you out if you had your stop right above the line, slightly not on this wick right here, but you want to hover a couple points above it. Your runner would still be in it, and you'd be collecting. 2 minute was pulling down, so kind of telling. And now let's see if it can bleed through a little more, or if it pops back over 47, it's just going to re-enter the range. And then potentially test that level created. That's going to get created on the 2 minute over here at 57. So let's see what it wants to do here. All right. So hopefully that makes it clear for what an A++ is, right? Look at that 2 minute, right? Cross occurs in front. Moves already occurring. Not an A++ setup. See if we can find any more, right? These right here. All right. This is an A++ setup. It's a kind of a funky looking one, right? It's a bullish looking 2 minute. Cross occurred in the center of the body. Stop loss line there, and there was a little bit of a rejection there. Right? This is an A++ as well. Cross within the center behind. Gave you that little push up. This is an A++ as well over here. Why? Right? Cross occurred within the wick, right? Slightly behind, but there's the wick. There's your move. Also an A++, but, right, the common denominator that we see with these huge candles, look at the size. Impulse candle, what happened immediately? Got bought up. So be careful with those big boys. Okay, little A++ here that pushed up. Didn't really manage to challenge the whole candle before it rejected. So those are the A++. That's a funky looking one. Looks like it was a cross up that failed, immediately pulled down into a range. Here's another one of those impulse candles, and you're going to notice these impulse candles over and over and over again. All right, not an A++. Why? Because the cross here occurred on the top of the wick. Makes it risky. Doesn't make it invalid, just extra risky, and you saw what happened. Obviously, it could not break. Could not continue to break down. Instead, flipped up, and then a big explosion up. This one's not an A++ either. Why? Cross occurred in front, pulled down. Right, cross occurs behind. This is technically A++. Not A++. Why? Cross happened below the blue. Makes it extra risky. Challenged the level immediately, broke, and pulled down. All right, cross in front, not A++. Cross in front, not A++. Cross at the center, A++. That's what you're looking for. Center of the body or slightly behind. Again, right? Does it make it a bad potential entry? No, right? Because you'll see A++s that fail, right? This one failed to continue. And then you're going to see A++s that play out well. And you're going to see ones that are below, not an A++, but do give you a little bit of a push. So you just have to be cautious, right? There's a reason why I look for them to be within the body. Delete all these down here. These are broken purples. Forget to clean my 2-minute chart here and there. Okay. All right, so let's see what she wants to do. Looks like she could not continue down to 24, right? This is a good example of why I personally don't like to use levels like the 24 as a TP, right? We saw that break happen. Right now it's kind of giving you the retest. There is no clean breaking candle here. There is no clean breaking candle here at all because this candle teleported. I'm not a fan of these teleportation candles. So this is just a retest of this 47 area. It is trying to break back in, but looks like it's rejecting right now. So it could still try to drive down. And all-time highs is funky, so you'll have to be extra patient, extra cautious. All right. So hopefully that cleared up a little bit of what the A++s are with the crosses where they're occurring, right? When they occur behind or in the center, if they occur in front or below or above, right? Why they make them a little riskier. Not invalid, just riskier. When they occur in front, usually the move is already in progress. So those are the ones you have to be cautious of. Impulse candles as well. I played the break and retest of the buy signal 19, got stop loss and came back, and the other buy them, boom. Very nice. It says 1.5 hours, but it's a lot longer. XD and you get... All right, hold on. Good evening. Question about your coaching. One-on-one session. How much contact time? It's a lot. I know it says an hour and a half. I recently updated it to 2, right? But it might go longer, right? I don't like to give like exact time, but usually, if you got to go somewhere, you got to let me know because I will continue to yap on about the market. Like I love to do this. I love to teach. You do get a recording. So it's like, it's a lot of information that I feed you, a lot of this Maxway that I use. So some of the SPX reads or 3-bar breaks, my own personal takes on some of these that I break down, and it's recorded and I send it to you right after or the next day. It says 1.5 hours. Yeah, okay. What's up, V-Pizzle? Okay, we could hit 30K. It's really close. What's up, Owen B? Yeah, you could chill with us, man. Course. How much for the course? No idea yet, Papa Luke. Actually, I have an idea, but again, I can't announce too much. There's going to be a formal announcement. So it's not like I don't know anything. I just can't. It's like those movie spoilers, right? You got the actor in the movie or something, and they can't spoil nothing. I can't spoil anything. It's all going to be announced in one go. It's all going to be like, formally done. All right. Oh, I'm excited, Sam. There's an extra sauce box thing that I've been working on for the last 2 months, and it's been insane. Like, it's been insane. And it's going to be huge for the course, especially with those who like to, right? Because I'm a scalper, right? I do scalp with Quantum, but I have been playing these longer setups with this addition to the sauce box that has been kind of ridiculous. Seems like the play is almost done. Yeah, okay. That's how I got cooked on SPX on Friday. Do you only draw the blue and purple lines off the 1 minute or both? I draw them on each individual time frame because I want to see what each time frame is doing, right? So again, right? Be cautious at all-time highs. You always have to be cautious at all-time highs. But right, if we're seeing the break and retest on the 1 and it's just stalling out, I'm immediately going to go and be like, okay, what's happening on my 2 minute, right? Or what's happening on my 5 minute? Like the 5 minute is obviously in this deep uptrend, right? But it does have room to challenge all the way down to 778 on or 782 on the 5 minute, the cloud, right? It could challenge anything in here. But what's in the way on the lower time frames, right? What's in the way in this cloud where if we're looking for it to continue to push down, where you're going to see these pauses, right? Day 24, 812, 809, 804. All this right here, whereas you can pull down, right? If you do come down to challenge at 824, below 824, 809, this 812 area, then 804. Below 804, right? What do we have? Then we have down here at 784, right? So this 784, we do have a blue candle here lined up with the center close to where that uptrend cloud, the trend cloud, that first little level at 780 is. Now below that, right? If it manages to break this, what do we have below that? How much room do we have on the trend cloud between 780 and 705? What do we have on our charts between 780 and 705 that could hold it back? 773, 772, then all the way down here to 676, right? And that's how I can determine the space I have for a potential setup. Okay, just like what we saw up here, right? We got that break of 847. How much room do we have between 847 and 24? About 23 points, right? 847, so far, 8 points if you're looking for the 47 rejection. If you caught it from up here at 58, you caught your 10 points, you're letting a runner run, and you're seeing if it continues to go down. That's how I usually take my runners and trades, right? I'm not going to enter again. If I caught this up here, I'm not going to enter again here. I'm going to let the runner see if it wants to keep going or not. That's how I trade, right? You guys can customize it to your style, to your liking. That's what's awesome about it. Do you only draw? Wait, this 8 o'clock volume? 8 o'clock volume coming in. Look, all right, went to retest 47. Little rejection, right? We're stuck between this 38 and 47. She's trying to go blue. But she needs to break back up over here. And then needs to try to break all this up here. So I draw them on each individual time frame, right? If you're trading on the 1, and we're going to be working, me and Owen, we're talking about how to update, like, the lines. Okay, there's the break over 47. So let's see what it does if it challenges that 57. We're also getting a blue on the 2. Right, so I can move this down here now, actually. That's the 8 o'clock volume coming in. Needs to break that 57, then 65 up here. On the 2 minute, this is a 2 minute level. The 1, 2, and 5. Yep. Awesome. I've got it. All right. Instant 10-point move, 1 minute time frame. Yep, that happens a lot. I was on the 2 minute, but I was able to see it on the 1 minute. Awesome. Moves in progress because of undecided wicks. Yep. In the short, the A++, do you have a list of different types of trades you take? Yeah, in the manual. In the manual, all the setups are in there. So there's four setups. There's the range, right? The quantum range, the failed bullish or bearish moves. Then there's the A++ setups, and then there's the level plays. And I'm going to make individual videos on those as well. I have a little list of videos I want to do. If you tried that level break, where would your stop loss go? The breaking candle. The breaking candle is always going to be my guide on any break and retest, right? Any break and retest setup. So let's just say up here, right, on this, if there is a candle that's going to break, okay, like actually right now, right, let's see if this is going to break down right now. Okay, if this candle breaks this blue, this is going to be my guiding candle. My stop loss, I'm already looking, would be up here at 847. Immediately I would already know that if this candle does close below it. I'm already eyeballing, this is the candle that might break, and I'm already eyeballing the top. 47 would be my stop loss. Now it's already going. It's already going. You might not catch it, right? Now you want to be careful because how much room do you have to 24? You don't have much now. Only a few points. 24 needs to break between 24 and 12 would be next. So immediately already would be eyeballing that. So far, a very nice looking short. But it needs to continue to break those areas. So you see that little wick at 26, right? So then it needs to break that 24 on the 2, right? We got that rejection at 57. You guys saw that clean rejection at 57 right here, all the way down. So now this needs to hold below 39, 39.45. You don't want it to break back above because then that's potentially going to try to pull itself back up. The 2-minute also still needs to close underneath 39. So this 2-minute has 40 seconds left. So it's very important to always keep an eye on your higher time frames as well. So we're going to be potentially stuck between this 39 and 24, right in here. So let's see if this 2-minute wants to close below. Look at that pop up. Look at that. Right, 2-minute popping right back up. Needs to close below. Now let's see what it does here. The last 10 seconds. If it closes above, breaks the level, breaks that candle, failed bearish move here. And then it's going to gun it for that 57 again. Ooh, that closed right below that purple. But still closed inside. That's why it's very important to wait for those candle closures. And this is just back in this little range. So this broke, getting rid of that, right? Why? Because there's a level below now. It did break. It's respecting that level. We can use this purple as the next guide where it needs to break up to challenge there. If it can't, we're still going to wait and see if this 2-minute can still break below 38. So it's just kind of stuck in this 2-minute range right now. So let's draw this out. Not a fan of the way this purple looks, honestly. That's a very bullish purple. But still purple candle, so you want to keep it there. Again, mainly this 57 level. So even if it breaks this 47, I'm not really interested until that 57. And then the 64 breaks for a push up, continuation push up. 43 is kind of holding right here currently. Potential 3-bar push up here if it breaks over. There it goes. That's why it's very important for candle closures. I love it when you can see it do its little thing right here. That level into a 3-bar. But 57 still needs to break. Still uptrending on the 5. There's a blue on the 1. Can it break that 57.50? Then through 65 and then get another pop up. All right, if you tried that level break where okay, so hopefully I answered that question for you, Sam. Maestro, so you like when the cross happens inside of the blue and purple candles. So I want them to cross inside the center of the body or slightly behind. That gives it enough room to potentially make the move. Because when it crosses in front, it makes it extra risky, right? The next thing to keep in mind, right? This is an A++ here, but where do you have room, right? Do I want to enter in the close here right below that 57.50? No, right? You're going to get this kind of failure rejection majority of the time until it breaks that level. So you always have to be cautious. You don't want to enter along right at a level. Wait for it to break. So right now we're getting this challenge. It's kind of going already. Yeah, look at that wick. Look at that wick right at that 65, right? Oh, why is that wick there? We already know why it's there. Still needs to close. That 2-minute needs to close above that 57. It's trying to, right? It's trying to form a new level here, right? We did get the closure above that guy. We're trying to get a new level to form at around 50. So 50 needs to hold, and you need to break that 57. And then you also need to break the 65. And we might go for a new higher high here. A new higher, all-time high. So you like when the cross happens now. So hopefully that makes it clear, Terrence. Like it needs, for me, the best setups cross in the center or behind because the move hasn't technically occurred yet. When they cross in front, it's already giving you that push. So you have to be cautious on those. All right, so again, right, like this one, crossed behind, it did hit the bottom of the wick. This is technically A++ setup. Again, A++ setup here as well, but both of these were risky. Why? Because you're up against that level. You had that candle break over here, right? You still have to be careful. Why? Because it's a 2-minute level. You need that 2 minute to break. So not an ideal setup. Let's see if this can break 65 and continue to make a push up. There it goes. Look at that violent teleportation up. The 2 minute did flip, but now you need to see it hold above 65 and continue to push up. There it goes. There it goes. Can it push beyond the all-time high right now? Don't like these teleportation candles, but you need to see it hold above that 65. Leads back in. What is it going to test? This stuff down here. Can get rid of this, or actually we could turn it blue technically. I wouldn't turn this blue because we have that level there. So for me to do this, right, it'd be kind of pointless because we already have a level there. This is already lined up perfectly, so I don't need that line there. On the 2, I'm leaving that there. On the 5, I'm leaving that there, right? Candle's not closing above 65 yet. So now what could happen? We could get stuck in here. All right, I have a better understanding of this indicator. Awesome, Don Negro. Though the time I did mine, I thought it was. Anyone else catch the gold move? Ooh, is gold moving? Very nice, man. You caught a nice gold move. Doesn't mean no more one-on-one in pure course. So that's a great question, Sam. So there will be a lot less one-on-one availability. I'm only going to be doing one-on-one a week, and probably only like 2 or 3 a month. So it's going to be a lot less of that availability. Yeah, the course is going to be insane. Like, I'm excited for it. Putting a lot of work into it. I'm adding a lot of sauce that I used to work on. There's some old sauce that I'm rebringing in and actually been testing. I can't spoil it. It's something very unique with Saucebox, though. And I've caught some insane bangers with it. Look at this going. Still going. Can it continue to push up further, though? That's the question. Do you teach what is it? Hold on, I just saw a question, now I can't. Do you pre-market? Hold on, I just had a question and it teleported on me. I hate when it does this. Is the coaching one-on-one? The coaching is a one-on-one. Miami Tom. It is specifically just me and you or whoever books. Right? And I do record every session. Do you teach how to automate quantum as well? Automate it? No, we don't. We don't automate it at all. Quantum is something that can be, but because we don't want to break prop rules and things like that, we decided not to go that route. It's a very expensive route as well to properly do it. It is a very expensive route to go to. But quantum in itself, right, will never be broken down. There's a lot of math involved. The candle creations, that's something that is going to be locked up tight. Unless someone pays me a shit ton of money, right? Because this is a very unique system. You're not going to find anything like this at all anywhere. Is there 2 ways to play? Is there 2 ways to play in the 2-minute time frame? The dashes, strong bull 57, short 21. Well, yeah, if it broke that 57, right, you got the 57 break and retest. So here's your breaking candle, right? You got the retest at 59. Your stop loss will be below 50. That led for about a 12-ish point move. You still want to see it try to hold above that 65 area. If it breaks back below, right, where is it going to come back? 50, 43, these 2 areas. We kind of want to see it start to really hold above here. The breaking candle here would be this tippy tip. I'm not a fan of these personally, right? This is technically the breaking candle right here, this tippy tip. So you'd want to see it stay above that. But this is a tippy tip break, so I'm not a big fan of those. But ideally, I'd want to see it continue to hold above 65 and then continue to push up. If this fails to make a new higher high, this might be the beginning, right, of the flip, and the 5 minute might try to start curling down, but the 5 minute needs to curl down very deep, which is why I'm not a fan of shorting this yet, because this will need to cross all the way down to 20, 22, and close below 22 on the 5 minute. That's a lot for it to pull down on this strong uptrend. I just passed a 100K premium off that gold move. Let's go, Crucial. Let's fucking go, dude. There's no way. There's the dash. So yeah, you could play level breaks, right? You could play level breaks exactly like that, right? Breaks below that 824 is where you go the 820, 811 actually. You have this 811 and then 804. This is blue candle right here, held right over here at 726. So this is a very strong area. This 804, 800 psychological level, right? We have a level here. We got a blue candles there. So you got a very strong area here at 800. But you always want to identify your room, Femi. You always want to identify how much room I have from point here to point there. Do I have enough room to comfortably take a trade? If it's too tight, right? If you're just surrounded by levels and it's too tight, that's usually your sign to just sit on your hands, wait for it to open up, because you're probably going to get eaten up in the chop if you're not patient enough to identify where the bottom and the top are potentially going to be. It's an art to identify the chop. It's an art, I'll tell you that. And you still have to be very patient. I start to see some ad about a company trade for you if they help you pass an email. Be very careful with that, Femi. That is very frowned upon. If you get caught, you will be permabanned. You're not legally allowed to ever trade for anybody else in this industry, like with futures, especially with props. They will permaban you. So be insanely cautious with that. Don't fall for any companies saying that they'll do that stuff for you. Do I have advice managing runners? There's just variations of it. Like I have variations of it. Obviously, I've managed my runners different around sauce box, around levels, right? There depends on the move, right? If I caught a 25 point move, if I got in with 4 micros, right, I get 2 out. I have 2 runners, so I might do one candle by candle, and I might do the other one by level. So it can vary depending on the setup. If I see it breaking a level and, I got rid of one, I have one left, I'm going to let one breathe a little further down just to see if it can break that level. If it takes me out just a couple points over original entry, I'm still okay with it. So it can vary. It just depends. Oh, this is making this push. Look at that. That held that 60 area, right? They held your breaking candle, even though, again, right, tippy tip candles, not a fan of, and it did break it. There's your wick up to 75, right? That's your tip break right here. So here, let me draw the arrows, right? This is your breaking candle. All right, do these. I have a bunch of these. I have a bunch of these examples pinned in the quantum chat as well, right? This is your breaking candle. Gotta hate all these things. Oh my God, this thing is getting. Okay, breaking candle. This would be your stop loss. Will be right below. Okay. So stop loss will be right below that candle, this one right here. You would want it to hold this candle so you can enter all the way down to 61, and your stop loss will be below 58. And it gave you a 14-point pop from there. All right, again, tip break, not a fan of those, but they do play out sometimes. What market is live? I thought it was closed. Futures is open. Futures is open until 1 o'clock tomorrow, Eastern time. Yeah, tomorrow's a half day. So any futures account, any futures ticker should be open. Caught those gold shorts. Lovely stack level plus sell signal. There you go, ads. Very nice. Let's take a peek see that gold. Or actually, no, let me open up a new window. So I don't have to. Got sauce boxes for gold too. Looks like this one can go. This one can go. This one can go. Yeah. Okay. Got really close to it. Rejected off this old level over here. Let's see when this level was created. Hold on, I'm going to move that guy for now. That's a very old level. Holy crap. That level was created Monday the 18th at 8:20 p.m. And that's where we're rejecting. Looks like NQ went back to test the 860s. Like there's an A++ on the gold with a deep retest, advanced read right here on gold for that bounce, right? Breaking the 2-minute blue right now. Still needs to come all the way down to 570 if it's going to pull down any further. Yeah, look at this A++ on gold. Look at these two A++ on gold right now. That's an A++, very nice. With the level rejection, stack level rejection, yeah, that's a beautiful short. If you guys caught that, that is a beautiful short right there. Wow. Glad you guys are seeing it. That was a very beautiful gold short. All right, here's a failed bearish move on the, look at that, right? Failed bearish move. And look at this, right? Oh, what held? Why did it push up there? That breaking candle over here at 859. That's what held. There's your pull up. All right, now this would need to hold above, right? This candle now. Same thing, 861-ish. That's where you want to, again, all-time highs is finicky, so still be very cautious. But let's see if this thing wants to continue. There it goes. All right, yeah, the goal is to become independent and scale. Javi was eyeing an entry. I mean, no, I mean, I did take it. I'm holding on to 3 micros right now. So I'm up $120 with 3 micros from 840. I didn't get in at 848 though. I hate when like it makes adjustments when I trail. I got in like at 850, and now it's adjusted at 848.25, but that's not correct. So I'm seeing if these 3 runners want to keep going. If it breaks under 60, it'll take 2 out, and then I'll have 1 left. Yep. Don't FOMO. Patience is key. If you trade micros, why are you showing the minis chart? Do they generate different candles? Yes. So there is a slight difference in volume between the two. Slight. It's enough to affect a couple candles here and there. Again, quantum candles don't generally rely mainly on volume at all. Like you guys can turn on the volume and you'll see how it varies, right? It plays a little tiny part in it, but it's the tiny part of it is enough where it might miss a candle here and there between MNQ and NQ, but it still plays out really well. I trade nothing but MNQ on wealth charts, and I've been doing really well on wealth charts. So it's slightly different. When Owen and I were testing this, he traded nothing but MNQ on TradingView, and I did nothing but NQ, but traded MNQ because I trade on the DOM. And we both had pretty much the same results. Sometimes he would miss a move, sometimes I would miss a move. Sometimes MNQ triggers something that NQ won't trigger, and vice versa. And that's just because of that little slight difference. And it's funky. We tried to make a workaround around it, and it really didn't do anything. And that's a TradingView thing, or that's a contract thing. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be true even with like other platforms. So I've always charted on NQ, just always charted it. I never traded on TradingView. I've always taken my trades off the DOM. So that's just why it's like that. All my lines, all my boxes, everything has always been on NQ. So I've just charted on NQ. And Samsung NQ's true volume of the index. Exactly, yeah. I practice while listening to Javi with 1 micro. Let's go. For MNQ, this is the replay showing me I have 2 minutes. Okay. All right. Learning and everyone are going to have a field day with it. Yes. With your course, will you be doing pre-market? I don't know yet, TK. I don't know yet. The only main reasons I don't do pre-markets is because I take my daughter to school in the morning. So, you know, as much as I love to trade and everything, I will never take time away from my kids. Like, I'm going to take my daughter to school in the morning. You know, it's going to be different in Florida. They go to school a lot earlier. So I'm going to have some time. where I'm going to pop in the morning here and there. But, pre-market, I do have pre-market setups, but it's yeah, you know what? If I can, absolutely I will. But again, I don't want to promise stuff. I don't want to promise too much right now. That's up to you, big brain. You could do either one. You could do either one. You can wait for the course. You can do a one-on-one. The one-on-ones are going to be insanely limited, and the price is probably going to go up on those one-on-ones as well. Just fair warning for that. Just because I'm trying to make more time for my family, right? So that's one of the main reasons for the course. Holy crap. My 3 micros are up $220 right now. I'm going to get rid of one up here. I'm getting rid of one just because it's all-time high. Is it useful for personal accounts as well, or just the prop firms? Is what useful? Is what useful for personal accounts? Zero Aloof. The strategy. I've traded live accounts. I've gone live with 4 different props. I trade the strategy the exact same way on everything, live accounts or props. But I recommend, especially someone that came from the options game, props is a great leverage, especially if you're trying to learn the futures. Because if you're putting in a personal account, 500 to 1,000, you can play with a couple micros, but you can buy like with $500, you can buy 5 accounts. Each account will have 2,000 leverage, right? Just to practice. So it's one of those things, right? And then if you become profitable, then all of a sudden you could turn that $100 into a couple $1,000 versus trying to make 500 into 700. And like in options, right? When I was trading options, I was looking to make 20%, and to make 20% to supplement my income, I would need to throw in like $1,000 to $2,000 to try to make 200 to $300. And you're fighting the Greeks, the theta, and all that stuff, and the IV burn and everything. So it depends on you. Obviously, there's a lot of cash traders out there, and if that's what you like, that's what you like. But I definitely like the fact that you can leverage with props for a lot less money, especially if you're new to the game. Newer all-time highs, still going. I'm gonna hold on. Oh man, I can't do that right now. Because I think I erased it right now, so I don't wanna pop anything open that my wife's gonna have to edit later. I wanted to take a peek at something because I think it's close to hitting or already hit. That's why I'm confirming the 5-minute cross used as support. Yep, the 5-minute cross is crucial. I'm glad that you're seeing it. So when a resistance point gets broken, it turns to support, just like that. It flips. I love that you see that. Yep, it flipped exact. That's something when you will see a lot during strong uptrends. You will see a level break, and then you'll see it retested, and the exact same thing, right? Where you see that flip, that same candle that broke could become your stop loss candle. So I'm glad that you're actually seeing it. That is a level flip. When they go from resistance to support. And that's again, right? That's everything with quantum. The candles, the blue, the purple candles, and the levels. They break, you want them to become the opposite, right? Just like the purple candle breaks, right? If the purple candle is a bearish candle, right, it's going to be resistance. You want it to break and become support, right? Love it when it lines up with a level like this, right? Then it becomes support, break, boom, retest, push. That's the common pattern of support and resistance. This is exactly how I can scalp so much, right? I can find setups all over the place because I see these setups all over the place, whether they're the levels, whether they're the quantum candles, whether they're the A++ setups. Chop kills everybody, Femi. But again, right, you have to be patient to identify. My show will be fun. Yeah. I'm trying to trade levels with candles like support and resistance with limited order. Yeah, if it works, man, that's the thing, right? You find a setup that works for you. You do not, and I recommend this to everybody, do not try to master every single setup in one go, right? Get really comfortable with the A pluses first, then get really comfortable with the failed bearish or bullish moves, or just wait for those ranges. Just wait for the ranges and play the breaks of the ranges, right? You get really comfortable with one, then you can start seeing how the others kind of start to line up and play around each other. But always work your way little by little, right? This is a whole strategy. I want everyone to remember that. It's a whole strategy, right? We're not just playing blind signals here and there. We're still eyeing levels. How much room do I have? Do I have room to capitalize on something here, right? All-time highs, finicky, risky. Why? Because it's in search mode, right? There's hidden liquidity somewhere up there, right? Somewhere up here, there's a pool of sellers. Maybe those of you guys with book maps or heat maps can see it. But the majority of us that don't have that, right? We're kind of like, okay, well, we're in discovery mode. Where can it keep going to? The tippy tip always fucked me up multiples now. Yep, exactly. I don't play the tip. That's why I keep saying big brain. I do not play the tip game. All right. Price reacts those levels. The A++ on the last purple. So this one technically was. That was A++. This one technically was. Right? But again, right? This one failed at the level. This one, this was the opening. Asia opening. Always be careful around opening. Right? You're going to get opening volume. It's going to do all sorts of fuckery. And this is your Asia opening, 8 o'clock. There's your little fuckery. And then you had your little final move here on that push up. This one, technically A++, again, going against a 2-minute level. 10 points of room, not ideal. This one, not really A++, crossed in front. And then, let's see, where did this blue candle form? This blue candle formed after the purple. So I was going to say be careful with this one with that blue, but nothing there for that. That sell was A++. Yeah, this one technically was, yes. Right? But again, right? Uptrending strong. Right? We just broke a purple down here. How much room do I have from 860 to 850? And this is a 2-minute level. I would not take this. I would not take this. Too tight. And then you had your failed move and your push back up. 2-minute was okayish looking. I always look for 15 points minimum of room. 15 or more. Because if I'm going for 10, I'm always going for 10 points. I thought when the two lines cross in or behind, that would be a time to get in. But it's going up instead of selling. Yes, so exactly. Yeah, so that's when you have an ideal A++, right? So you wouldn't play every single signal just because it shows you the signal. Okay, so be always cautious of what's happening on in the higher time frames, right? We're trending up, right? And how much room do I have again, right? Your entry would be 60. You have room for 10 points, and that's it. That is not enough room for me to potentially take this, right? And you're going against a stack level too, right? You got a 1 and a 2 push. It's still uptrending. We haven't seen blues break really. You saw this blue break, but on the 2-minute, we haven't seen any 2-minute blues break, right? If the 1 minute gets funky, you look at your 2. The 2-minute has not had any blues breaking at all. So I'd be cautious taking any shorts at all at this point, especially when you don't have that much room. That would have been a super short, even if it even managed to get down there. Where we're still flying up. I still have 2 micros floating up $200 right now. Look at that. I'm gonna get rid of one up here at 29.9. So now I have 1 micro left. I should screenshot it, put it in here when I catch up. So remember, right? Don't blindly take signals. Make sure you guys are still analyzing the chart. This isn't a signal take everything every single time I see it, right? You can if you control your sizing. You still will get more wins than losses, but you still want to be cautious of what you're seeing, right? Market open 8 o'clock, impulse push, right? Sell signal that came down to what? Where did it flip? That 2-minute level at 824. Boom, failed bearish move. Give you an A++ with a failed bearish move. This is one I would take. Why? Because I have multiple confluences on this, right? We have an A++ plus a failed bearish move for that push up. This is one I would absolutely take. And I did take it, right? I still got 1 micro flying on this. And then you have that push up. My 1 runner, I'm not getting in on this for a short because I'm still holding on to the runner. My 1 runner, it was still at break even. If this pulled down on my short to pull down and take me out here, it would have taken me out. I would have been fine. It did not. It kept going. Now we have another failed bearish move, right? Boom, boom. Big blue, 2 failed bearish move, just confirming the strength of the uptrend. Uptrend is still going up, and there's a continuation. Okay, still a strong uptrend. I wouldn't be looking at shorting it until I see a blue break somewhere. Right now, we're still making all-time highs. No quantum ranges, no nothing, no levels. The 5-minute here would need to start closing. If I'm going to measure the 5-minute, we need to start closing underneath 60. and then pull down to 31, right? But what do we have between 60 and 31? 50, 43. Below 43, you have some room down to 24. But in between here, it's just going to get finicky, especially if you're still uptrending. Is it? Okay. It scrolled up again. I know when you're to trade, you have to look at yeah, I'm aware, but since I'm just going for 5 points. Seriously, I want their little 1 to 3 second in. All right, family first, then trade. Exactly, Sam. That's the reason I started doing this, was to have time for the fam. I have to go, but great session, awesome Invictus. Good to have you here, brother. When do we delete the old blue and purple lines? As soon as they break. As soon as they break, you can delete them, right? I don't usually draw them out, right? I visualize them, right? If you have, okay, here's the best way to do it, right? If you break a purple and you have a level right at it, there's no reason to have this here, right? This is going to be that previous area where it broke, right? If you have a level close to it, I don't care where it broke because I'm looking at the level instead, okay? If you don't have anything near it, like I have this blue, no level near it, all the way up here at 21 to, I'm sorry, 871 to 64. I'll have this one here. I don't need to have this blue mark that's right at a level. I do have this one here, right? I can have the one right below it marked as well, right below here. Though I think there's a level here. So technically that level I would look at, there's actually this guy right down here. Nope, broke already. That one broke. This one's alive, right? Only the ones that have not been broken are left, meaning candle closures. Okay. This one should technically have one too down here. This guy right here. So you only want to keep the ones that are not broken and that are not hugging a level, because when you're hugging a level, just pay attention to the level, right? If it's like right below the level, you always just can see where the candle is right below the level. But if it's hugging it like this example, I'm going to use that level instead. Right on the 2 minute, you don't have any, like, look at this. This one's down below 50 to 39, right? Above that, what do we have up here, right? The higher time frames, you're going to have far less, right? You're going to have far less lines on the higher time frames. On the lower time frames, you're going to have a lot more, especially when it gets choppy. You will have a lot more in the higher time frames when the higher time frames get choppy, right? And you can see where the pauses are going to happen. If it comes down, where the pause is going to happen, right? 2 minute 61, 71, 64. We just created this level at 94 and a quarter. Looks like it's trying to break through it. Needs to close above to break through it and flip it. What props do you recommend for beginners? Definitely the cheaper ones, Apex, right? If you pass it, you do have to pay an activation fee, but just to mess around and find out, 30, 40 bucks, can't beat that. Who else? Apex just had a really good 50% sale, but they ended it already. So those were, those were insanely cheap to get. They didn't have activation fee. Which other ones are okay? FFFs are okay. FFF, the Premier plan isn't too bad. That was my favorite plan from them. Those are the ones, right? The cheaper ones. The cheaper ones to test with. Look at this thing, it's just ripping. There's no signs of, like, the pullbacks are so weak. It's in a deep uptrend. My one runner is up $110 right now. Still have it. Huh, that's weird. Lionel J can't type for some reason. Yeah, that might be it, OMB. Hey, Javi, remind me how you identify possible range chop before it happens. I wait for it to get stuck between levels or for the candles to show up. That's all I do. So until it gets stuck between two levels, then there's no chop. But you need to see the levels be respected. And mainly not on the one. I like to see them happen on the 2 minute or the 5 minute. When they get stuck in a higher time frame range, it is much easier to play it off than the 1 minute. But you have to wait for that to start showing you that back and forth motion. And then you'll get, when you get stuck in like an hour range or like a 30-minute range, you can identify it pretty fast, but you still have to wait for it to give you that sandwich of levels. And the deeper, the better. You don't want it to be like a 5 or 10 point range. No, you want it to be like 15, 20 or more. Identify the bottom, identify the top, and you know what has to break for it to go in the opposite direction. And then I use the DOM as added confluence. When I see the DOM hit an area and I see it reject, and then hit the next area and I see it pop, it's very telling. And I do recommend you guys, look at how the DOM reacts, the shift in speed that I've said. I break that down in the coaching as well. But there's a shift in speed, and you guys can look at it on the Super DOM. It is very telling when you get to a level how the DOM reacts. So it broke 94. Now it's testing 94, right? If it breaks back below 94, right? The 2 minutes trying to curl down finally, right? Breaks below 94. That 2 minute needs to start breaking below 90. And we might come back to that 71. Until that happens, look at that. Bouncing right off of that 94. Boom, look at that. Right? It needs to close below it. So look at that. Hard bounce off that 94. I'm up 120 now in the runner. Holy shit. This thing is still going. I'm going to screenshot this. 122. All right. Candle closures are very, very important. Right now we have a level at 897. You have one micro at 871. Let's go. All right. I always get F'd Raw Dog Monday. Hey, that's good. Yeah, you could identify that, Shrimp. I'm really glad. Holy crap, this thing is ripping, guys. Okay, I'm going to post a screenshot because I've been just trying to catch up and I get scrolled up, but there's my one runner. This account's up $613 right now. Let's see how far it can go. Hey, Tuesday, let's see. All right. Do you move the runners up after letting price pull away and then move up under consolidation areas? Yes, Rosie, exactly. Like if I'm looking at where my lines are or where the consolidation areas are, you could absolutely start moving in below, right? You could just ride the market structure, right? If I got in at 847, right? I saw the blue level here. I put it below the blue. I see this level at 871. I put it below 871. Let it sit there until it takes me out. Keeps pulling up, right? Try to create a level here. Didn't. Keeps pulling up. Created one up here, right? Created this one up here. You could put it below either structure point, whichever you want. Breaks above, then you could move it and move it and move it until eventually it breaks a level or something that takes you out of it. That's one way to do it. There are just, depending on the setup, there's multiple ways you can let a runner really go. And, it takes a little bit of practice, and you're going to get your own style of when a runner goes, and again, be okay if it doesn't go, right? If it takes you out and it doesn't go, that's fine too, because there's many instances, we call it strat 6, right? Where I'm going in the direction I get taken out only for it to pop and continue to go. And that's going to happen, but you have to be okay, right? Sometimes you're not going to catch the full move, and that's fine. Like I caught the majority of it with the majority of my contracts. I have one runner seeing how far it can go, right? This one just so happens to have really gone. Right now I'm holding it right below this 90, seeing if it wants to keep going. If it does, great. If not, it's going to take me out. All right. If you have like 40-point quantum range, purple and blue, how are you taking trades in those? I'm going to take those based on the 1 minute. I'm always trading off the 1 minute. And I'm basically using the action lines at that point, right? What are my action lines doing in that 40-point range? Are they coming up and they're curling down at the 40 point and they come down? Are they curling at the bottom of the 40? Are they doing this, right? And then I'm also still keeping an eye at the trend, right? If we're uptrending, right? If we're uptrending, I'm being cautious as I'm shorting it, because if it's uptrending strong, it's going to break it eventually. And if there's a reversal, right, it's going to break the bottom side eventually if there's a reversal. But it sometimes it just gets trapped and you could just keep riding the waves. And then eventually it will break, right? But the hard part to learn is to not give back, right? Because when you get taken out of a range play, when you're playing the range and it finally breaks and you're still thinking it could come back in, and then you give back everything you just made playing the range, that's where it tends to fail. Because eventually it's going to break. So you have to be able to identify. And then again, the next part, how many times do you want to play that? I don't play it a whole lot. When I can identify the range, I'll play it 2, 3, maximum 4 times if it's just too clean. And after that, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm done with this account. If I still want to test it, I'll go to a new one and see if it keeps wanting to do it. But I'm not giving back any of what I already had. And it's very important to be able to do that. Oh my God, I'm up 150 right now. Runner still running. Runner still running. Personally, want to start to. So when a bearish and bullish move fails, should it be within a certain time or a amount it has gone up or down? No, there's no certain time. It's just it's everything is reactionary, Lloyd. There's never going to be a set time when something's going to happen. You just have to be patient. You have to wait for it to give you that potential move, right? But you have to have other confluences. You don't just want to go in just because it's curling down by itself. No, if you don't have levels, you don't have quantum candles to play off of, you don't have anything. You don't have anything. Like what are you gonna why am I gonna try to short up here? I don't have anything up here. This could just keep going for infinity, right? I got a level down at 97. If it breaks 97, right, then it needs to break 94 as well. This 94 area where it just did that flip, right? The exact same thing that we saw one of our guys here show us from the 5-minute, right? It just did the exact same thing. It broke that level, turned into support, and popped back up. So you have to have confluences, whether they're quantum candles, levels, something, right? Orbs, fibs, whatever you guys may use. Just like down here, right? The longs here. Why did I like the longs down here? Because we had A++ with a purple candle break. That's 2 confluences. Plus a 2-minute level forming up as well. That's 3 confluences, right? And we're uptrending still. That's 4 confluences. That's why I like the long from down here, right? This example, another example, right? Why was the long good here for continuation? We just had a failed bearish move into another level of creation for that another push up, right? So the more confluences you have, the better. That's always, always, always the tell for me, right? Failed bearish moves, pushing up, right? That's the thing, right? A++ into failed bearish moves or whatever. You're uptrending, you're combining whatever you have. Right? 2-minute one here, right? 2-minute, right? Big blue, broke above the purple, failed bearish move, gave you the cross in front, just took off. Gave you a little retest down here, right? This quick wick retest, kind of an advanced read. Not a clean one because it happened really fast. Pushed up, right? Failed bearish move here into a level creation for that push up, and then just kept going. It just kept going. So I'm not looking, okay, oh, we got a level forming here now. We're going to short to where? Possibly 97, possibly, but it's not promised. There's no guarantee you're going to get that push all the way down. We could see the exact same thing that we've been seeing where it's giving you a little push to just get bought up and then get flipped. There's no confluences up here to take anything at the current moment. All right, I drove my 1FF account down to 270 drawdown left. Is it worth trying to drag it back up? Oh, I've taken 150 drawdown back up to 1,000 and then YOLO'd it. So it's doable. It's fun to do. Actually, that video I made earlier, I hit daily loss limit on an Apex eval, and I made 700 off of it already. So it's just one thing. It's just a little challenge I like to put myself on every once in a while. I hit DLL because all the accounts I YOLO are the DLL accounts. And then I make a little challenge where, can I bring this thing back to life? And you do. Usually I can. How have you held that freaking long? I struggled to get above 20 points. Just again, like that one question that asked me exactly how I did it, right? Get that pull up, right? I got the majority of my contracts out on that push up. Saw that sell coming in. I had my one runner down here below 850. So if it came down and took me out, it took me out. Did not. Failed and just kept going. Just kept going. And every time we had a flip, right, I just moved my stop loss below a level or a candle. Moved it here, let it push all the way up. Didn't move it from down here, pushed all the way up. Saw this, get break, moved it down below 97. This is where it's floating right now. It's below 97. If it takes me out below 97, it takes me out. If it keeps going, sweet. But I'm okay giving back, right, 20-some points of it. I'm already up pretty good on the account. I don't care. That's just, if I want to get rid of it now, if I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm happy with what I took, I could get rid of it now too. But, I like to see, I'm like, all right, let's see if this can keep going or not. We're all-time highs. That's how I do it. That's how I play runners. Like, I don't care if I catch the whole move or not. I'm just following where everything's going, right? There's technically scaling opportunities if you think of it that way. I just don't. I just let the runner keep going. Like, oh, I would enter here. I still got a runner in it. Might as well just keep holding it. Possible plus, okay. It's possible plus it'll help you in the long run with account sizing. Yep. Don't be upset. Yeah, Sam gives some really good advice. Yeah, I got Strat 6 to 890. See? Yeah, we all get Strat 6. I get Strat 6 all the time too. Awesome. Awesome, Lionel. I'm glad you managed to get in here, brother. The grind back up is so hard, but if you manage, it's an amazing feeling. It is. It's crazy. It's actually a very fun thing to do. To like be able to be down that low and then be able to bring it back up, and you're like, damn, that's awesome. I have pumped a bunch of accounts between Apex and NFL. Yeah, we all have. And Zerdro, that's the thing, Zerdro. I've seen you give back everything a lot. Like, you need to learn to hit that target, move on. Like, that's how you're going to build consistency, brother. I'm telling you. Like, it's good to have fun, but don't have fun on the account that you're up big on. Like, and size down when you're unsure. If you're up big, I size down, like, especially on funded accounts. If I'm up big already and I'm going to take a trade on it, it's going to be like half the size. And if I take an L, I'm going to be like, okay, that's it. Or strike one or strike two, or whatever I'm in. When do you move to back entry? When I'm at 10. So I always go back entry when I hit my TP, 10 points. 10 points is always my main TP. As soon as I hit 10, right? 10 points is my main TP if I'm risking 10. I want to make that clear. If I'm risking 15 points, I'm going for 15 points. My R&R is always 1. 1-to-1 RR, right? If I'm risking 20, I'm going for 20. And again, guys, those of you who are new and you're in the Quantum chat, go into the pin messages, scroll down and look for the Quantum Challenge rules. And in there, I explained my exact sizing for my 50K accounts, right? If I'm risking 6 points or less, 6 micros on my 50Ks. If I'm risking between 6 and 10, 3 to 4. 10 to 15, 2 to 3. And more than 15, it'll be usually 1 or 2. And I always go for 1 RR. Once I get my 1 for 1, then I go my runner break even, okay? So that's the main thing I like to do. And I have it all written out in there. So you guys are new, go check out the pin messages. I have setups, pictures. Oh my God, this thing is still going. Right? Guess where I'm going to move my stop loss next? Holy shit. I'm up 170. I'm about to hit a 100-point trade, guys. I'm about to hit a 100-point trade right here. Guess where I'm moving my stop loss next? Right? Breaks above. I'm going to move it underneath 16. Honestly, if it gives me 100, I might just take it out at 100. Like, there it is, right? You can move it below 16 or right below the breaking candle at 909. Those are the two areas I could move it. So it was down below 97. Now I could put it underneath 908. If it breaks underneath 908, then I'm completely out of it. So there it comes down to test, right? It's going to test that area, that 16 area. If it finally decides to break below it, oh well. So this is where my stop will be, right below 907. So close to 100. Got within 13 points of 100 points. I don't care though. Again, right? Sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't. How you feel about WM model with liquid sweep inversing the FEG with quantum? Like that, those are very foreign words to me, Lionel. Like, I don't trade FEGs. I don't trade ICT. I'm basically just reading quantum. That's it. That's literally all I do, right? Do I have a basic understanding of FEGs? Only some of them. Do I see them? Yes, I know what they are, right? But liquidity sweeps, things like that, right? I see liquidity everywhere, right? Support resistance areas. Obviously, there's different time frames that you can see different kinds of liquidity and everything. I've seen so many different versions of it, but it's like, if you can identify it and you can see those confluences that you add with Quantum, bro, you do it, man. Like, I'm not against it, right? Like, people that use Izzy stuff, like Izzy's indicator, again, right, lines up with Quantum when you see those setups appear. Like, no surprise there. And guess who else's lines up? P2P. This is the little added direction that you need if you're unsure where to get in, where your stop loss should be, all of that, right? We know that with our setups alone without having to use anything else. But if you guys use something different like ICT or liquidity sweeps or anything like that, right, you're going to be able to get your guide with where should my entry be, where should my stop loss be, how can I identify if my trend is strong, right? How do I know when the true flip is going to happen? Right? For me, right, if a flip down is going to happen, what am I waiting for? The blues to break. Until that happens, we're still going to keep going up, right? Until these levels stop getting respected and we start going the opposite way. We have no blues here on the 1 until all the way down here at 864. We have no blues on the 5 until all the way down at 676. Right, the 2 minutes about to give a potential level finally. Potential, right? This needs to continue to hold underneath 20, and it might take my last runner might finally be taken out under 907. So if this closes below 16, right, reclaims that level, we have room to test all the way down here. But again, I'm holding it right underneath here. If it takes me out, it takes me out. But again, right, you use the confluences that you like. 400-point push since open, yeah. I know, wild, right? Like, look at this. Right? You had one hell of an opening signal here. 747 all the way up to 933. Like, that's nuts. That's nuts. Both on the 1 and the 2. And then you're 15. Oh, I didn't even realize I'm still on the 15-minute chart, y'all. Shit. Let's go back to the 5. All right. So the downtrend, the first area of downtrend is 90 on the 5 minute. So if we're going to come down to test, right, if this thing is going to come down to test, the downtrend, it would need to get all the way down here to the 90 on the 5. Another blue on the 1. So we're going to have our first quantum candle here since all the way down here at 864. And that's going to be your next area, 911. And then your 2 minutes trying to form a level here at 922. My runner is still alive. The stress that comes from reviving an account is a stress I'd rather avoid. If it's stressful for you, drop dead, then, definitely, get rid of it. I always view them as fun. I try not to view trading as stressful. If trading is stressful for you, then you got to identify why. Why is it stressful, right? Am I not following a set routine? Am I just taking trades for the whim? Am I not waiting for candle closures? Am I sweating everything? Because when you're taking the same setups over and over and over again, it just start to feel seamless. It just start to feel a little bit boring, but right, for me, it never gets boring. I know when people say trading should feel boring, but for me, it never gets boring because I like to see the reactions. I get excited of the reactions, and I'm okay taking L's. Like, that's where you need to get to, where you're okay taking the L's and moving on. Until that happens, trading is going to be stressful, and it shouldn't be stressful. It should be this routine. You're coming in. You should always know where your stops are going to be. You should always know what your entry criteria is going to be. And when you can identify all of that, it should feel seamless, and it should just be robotic. Like, you're just waiting for the setup, and that's it. Like, sometimes it gives you some, and sometimes it doesn't. So if you're like waiting for 30, 40 minutes for a setup, that might be a night where I'm not going to trade, because I'm not going to be staring at my chart for 30, 40 minutes for a setup. Like, I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm just watching paint dry. Like, hell no. My runner's finally about to get taken out. So close to getting taken out. And that's where you want to get with trading. You want to get to the point where it's not stressful because you trust the system that you're trading. And it takes time to get there. And I get it. But you have to be so repetitive and so consistent with it that you're just going to always see the same setup and you're going to trust it. That's what I do. Like, you guys see all my phone content, everything. I'm usually not stressed. I'm just going, I'm looking for this, boom, boom, boom. And if I get out, I get out. If I take it now, I take it now. Right? If I YOLO an account, usually because I'm having fun, and then I start busting my ass and laughing. Oh, it missed me by a little bit. It missed me by a quarter. There you go. Oh, no, it hit a quarter again. Okay, didn't take me out. Still floating there. It almost took me out. It almost took me out. I have fun trading. Like, and not everyone will, unfortunately. If you have like a 40-point quantum range, purple, blue. Okay, so I answered that one. All right, let me go in. What I've done to help with that is having as many accounts as I can reasonably afford and use the accounts as a total. Yeah, it does help to have multiple accounts drop dead. I will say that. It does help to have multiple accounts, right? But again, like, what makes me feel so stressless with trading is because I'm not going to blow an account in one day, right? If I follow my rules with my 3 strikes and my R&R with how I'm sizing and I'm consistent with it, it's going to take me 20 trades in a row to lose, right? And I'm not going to lose it in one day. I'm going to usually, if I take 3 strikes, I already took a couple wins. So the losses are already very limited. And if I strike out, right, I'm not touching that account until tomorrow. Or sometimes I don't even touch it till the next day after, right? Because I rotate my accounts. I have so many accounts I rotate. So like there's going to be a couple days where I'm only trading my Lucids and my FFFs. There's a couple days where I'm only going to touch my TPTs and my Apexes, things like that. So it should be very controlled. All right, my runner is about to get taken out here. Breaking the blues. This could be the beginning of the flip if it can hold beneath that 911. My runner almost taken out. Still not yet. Still a strong uptrend. So again, this is a blue break. The breaking candle is this funky candle looking right here. So your stop would be above 915. Still uptrending. I still believe like any push down is going to be short-lived, but if we're going to go test a higher low, if the 1 minute's going to break and we're going to look for, we got 897 below that 71 on the 2, you can go all the way to 861, and my runner's gone. All right, there's a break in this is again, right, your first guide for a potential short. 911, there goes. Look, can it give you your 10 though? Again, between 911 and 97, you have about 14 points. Can it give you your 901 is your 10 points? That's what I would look for, right? And this would be super risky because it's still not too much room. And we're kind of seeing it pull up already. If it closes above, it's giving us a blue on the 2 minute too. And this is why I do not like to short when it's too close to a level. My runner did get taken out finally. It lived a very nice, long, healthy life from 848. 50 points. 60 points, I'm sorry. 60 points, yeah. Got 60 points out of that little thing. There's a blue on the 1. So still uptrending. Again, this is why I don't like to short when it's too close to levels. For this very reason. Right there. Uptrend is still hella strong. 2 minute gave us a new blue. It looks like the 2 minute's going to be the tell. If the 1 minute broke this guy here and couldn't make it to that level down here, I would be waiting for a 2 minute blue break. This is a 2 minute level here at 921 as well. All right, so like last week, for example, I finished almost 30K up on evals, but that's divided up in 12 accounts. Very nice. Yeah, I haven't seen it. On quantum, following 30-second structure with blues and purples helps with trailing. Nice. That's good, Stu. I haven't touched the 30-second in forever. All right, 30K incoming. It's so close. I kind of want to see it too. You're at 56 points. Very nice. I got strat 6, guys. Look at that. I got strat 6. The runner got strat 6. Took me out. Flipped right back up 20 points. And guess what? I'm okay with it. There you go, Sergio. You got 3 fundeds, waiting them to be activated. Going in with 3 to 5 micros to get the buffer and try to baby them. You have to baby them. Market's open. Yeah. It's gonna close early, so do be careful though. It's gonna be pretty lowish volume. So far the volume hasn't been good. What's the ATR at right now? It's about 868, so it's not horrible. But just be careful, right? With half days, holidays, volume tends to be funky, and you're gonna see the funky movements here and there. Especially once the volume really starts to die down. We're gonna see what tomorrow. Again, me and Logan are opening tomorrow morning. We're doing the morning show. It's gonna be interesting to see if we get anything nice at the open. All right. I scalped 10 here and there 20 total. I'm done. There you go, Femi. When he said he was increasing branding, would expand Sam, yeah. Of course coming. Likewise the Sam, Mycon. I thought Max course was Javi, do you move your runner manually? I move it manually, MPI. I do not use ATMs. I've been messing around with a quantum ATM. I may share with you guys if I see consistency with it. So far it's been pretty good, kind of mimics the way I hold a second runner a little bit deeper with 4 contracts. But I've only been testing it for a week, so I haven't collected enough data on it. And I'm not a fan of ATMs. I love to do everything manual, so it is kind of funky for me to use it. But it's been doing good so far. And once I kind of feel like it's good, I kind of share it with you guys in the Quantum chat. And how I like to trail that second runner. Because I have one runner at break even, and then the second one will kind of trail a little bit further. Do not FOMO, Kingdom. Yeah, do not FOMO. If you missed it, you missed it, bro. The uptrend is very strong right now. It is very strong right now. 2 minutes trying to break back over that 21. This has showed no sign. Look at this. It has not broken that first level at all. It gave you this little test of that over here at around 7:30, and then it gave you another test at the Asia Open at 8 o'clock, and it bounced hard. It has not broken the halfway point at all. Like, look at this. Look how many times it's just hitting the halfway point and bouncing. That is an insanely strong, deep uptrend. So again, all-time highs, always finicky, always funky. I hear like fireworks or something going off out there. I hope they're fireworks. Hold on. I don't see nothing, but sounds like fireworks. All right. I was going to pretend from account. It's okay, Femi. Like, you don't have to feel bad, right? It's a part of the learning process. We all go through it. Yeah, we all F around and find out. All right, so that 2 minute did break that 921. This is your breaking candle. 911 needs to hold. Right? We got the 1 minute kind of curling up and curling down. But again, this is all-time highs. Expect FRE eventually. Right, 904 at the bottom. On the 1 and the 2, you have both of them have a candle right here down at 904. So that 904 area is where I'm going to be eyeballing it. Right below 904, 897. Below 897, you do have some more potential room. Until that 90 on the 5. But for now, it's still uptrending pretty damn deep. All right. You're waiting for that 30,000 to short, Zerdro. Be careful. Be careful, guys, coming in with biases. Like you have to wait for that reaction. You've not been able to do it manually to move stops. Are you MP? Are you trading off a Trading View or Tradeovate? Where are you taking your trades from? Oh, there we go. Opportunity, but life is kind of all right. Looks like I caught up with the questions. Yeah, I wasn't that behind. All right, what you gonna do here now? The 890 is that area on the 5 minute that needs to break if it's gonna push down further. If we're gonna go down, I'm not looking too much. From 920 to 904, 904, then the 90 area. The 90 area is what needs to break for it to go down to the 70 area. But still uptrending, so be careful. All right. On wealth charts? On wealth charts, if you want to trail, you just right click and you could set a stop loss, or you could just put in a buy or sell order. So if you're in the long and if you right click, you can put in a sell underneath where you're in, and then you could manually move it up. Same thing if you're in a sell, you can put a buy right above wherever you're in and you can move it down. So do mess around with it a little bit, because I do trade a lot on wealth charts. And I do it manually too. I don't use brackets or nothing, and I'm always let me see if I can take a screenshot here. Just gonna show you an example. So let me see if I could change. Let me change the screen, stop type, change stream. All right. So here's the wealth charts, right? Just an example, not an actual trade, right? So if you want to set TPs, right, you're gonna sell right up top. If you want, you can move it, right? If you want to set trails, you would set it below, right? I would do a sell and a buy, and then you could move it around, right? Right click, sell, and then I could trail it however I want, and I could combine them, right? You can combine them. You can modify them. If you put them next to, like you put them together, there's two, and then you just move it around however you want. This is how I do it here on wealth charts, right? You can move this thing up here too, wherever you want, right? You can exit it out, flatten, stuff like that. So I hope that'll help you, D. All right, that's how I like to do it. To get out of this. Okay. There we go. All right. You got it. How can I get the 2-minute lines on my 1-minute chart? You just go to your settings, quantum settings, and then you could modify your levels over here. You could have your toggle time frame, the 1 minute, toggle time frame to 5 minute, right? I have my 1 and my 5 solid lines are 5, dash lines are the 1, and then I have my 2 minute here as dotted. So you can make it whatever time frame you want as long as it's above the 1 minute. So for the levels, you can only see levels that are at the current time frame or higher. You can't see levels that are behind. So that's how I have it set, right? If you want your 2 minutes to show up, you have that toggle 3 check marked, and you could do them how you like, right? Some of you guys might like to see the 1 minute being the dotted because they're the weakest technically, the 2 minute dashed, and the 5 minute solid. You could do that if you want, right? I just visualize them this way because I've always seen the 1 minute as dashed and the 5 minute as solid. So I added the third time frame as dotted just because that's the way I've always done it. All right. Any more questions before we call it a night here? Let me take a look. Lock out and enjoy the day. Yep. Girl, we have a whopping 2 double. Oh, this thing did pull down to 906. I just realized that. Like this bottom area, this 904 area. Right? This needs to give way. Then 890 is what really needs to give way for it to give a stronger push down. But that 20 level formation putting down a little bit. Can you incorporate the ATR flag that Logan has onto the quantum? I don't think we want to like do too much of, yeah, that's something that he put on his thing, and you can add ATR 805, like that. That's something that we're kind of trying to keep each indicator unique to their own thing, and that's something that's unique to his. And quantum's already very heavy as well, so like we have to be very cautious with what we add in it, because it's a very heavy indicator. A lot of information in this indicator. How can I get the 2-minute lines on my one? Okay. Trade exhaustion is no joke, drop that's absolutely true. I'll talk to the guys about it. I'll see what they say about the ATR flag. It's just something, again, like we want to separate some of the stuff. Obviously, that's something that is unique to his. Um, but we'll see. It's just again, right? Quantum is already very heavy. We had to get rid of the other table for a reason, right? Because we did the multi-level update. Was a heavy update for an already heavy indicator, and that's why we got rid of the other table. But does anybody else have any more questions before we call it a night here? Again, very, very slow kind of uptrend, right? All time highs, low volume because of the holiday. So the move has, I mean, it's been going up most of the night. Will it keep going up? I don't know. Right? If it that's what I'm looking at an 890 for, I'm sorry, I'm looking for nine. We at 890. 890 is that break for the potential push to 870. Between here, right? These little moves are pretty tight right now. It's still in a deep uptrend, so I'd be careful shorting it. I know some of you guys are, might be favoring shorts, but just be very cautious, be very patient, just because you're going to get caught in these chop moments here, and then it's just going to keep uptrending. All right, JD. I was able to run through most of the questions. If I missed a question, I do apologize. We do this again every freaking Sunday, right? And you guys, I'm going to be on the morning show tomorrow, so tune in the morning. We might see an opening setup. It's going to be fun. I'm going to pop in early, and if we see an opening setup, I'll go ahead and narrate it. We'll see if it plays out, and it should be fun. But hopefully the volume kicks in the morning, and you guys have like another little added quantum session if we see it for that morning opening. All right. So everyone enjoy your night. And we'll see you guys in about 12 hours. Yeah, it's already 9:14. So I'll see you guys in 12 hours. It's going to be awesome. All right, everyone. Peace out. Hope everyone learned a little something, and I'll see you guys on the next one.